time. Life is a collection of experiences, their frequency, and their intensity. Life is not just watching the clock tick away. Life is a collection of experiences, their intensity, their frequency. You've got to let go and let it happen. Because if you don't, you're going to be all punched up. You're going to be constantly trying to do what can happen healthily only if you don't try. Trading is not for everyone, but if you...
Woo! Good morning, dreamers. Rise and shine. Another blessed and grateful day. YouTube just didn't want to let me go ahead and get the sauce. I was like, why am I frozen? Why am I glitching? And then we had to go ahead and just give a quick little laugh. And as my mentor would say, isn't that fascinating? Could do nothing but giggle, but I already know this is a powerful mess. They didn't want me to get it out, so I made sure I'm going to go ahead and get it out anyway. So dreamers, it's good to see everybody. Deanne in the building, Shane, Talina, Johnny, lovely. Hope everybody is feeling good, vibrating high. This morning, it's been a lot going on. Happy Thursday, an amazing week so far already. So much abundance, so much growth. I'm talking about, I see you guys hitting the gym. The diet's been on point. We've been plugging in, and today is day one officially of summer 2024. So I'm ready to go ahead and equip the family with the tools that we need to go ahead and succeed. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get into today. We got a late start, so I'm going to breeze through this one so we can go ahead and dive into the rest of this Thursday. So here we go. Let me get live on IG. Let's get tapped in. And what is a piece of gratitude that everybody's grateful for today before we get into why is change so scary and how to go ahead and unlock its full potential? So let me know, drop it down below, and let's get started. Why is change so scary? Potential. Here we go. IG. Happy Thursday. YouTube did not want to let me get the sauce out today. We are a bit late, but we are still here. It's good to see everybody. So grateful for you all. Grateful for the sun. Grateful for the breeze. Grateful to be alive. So grateful for the time freedom. Okay. Being able to volunteer today. I love it. Giving back. That's what it's all about. To be of service anytime, anywhere. That's actually the first thing that I wake up and I write every single day. In fact, today is day 702, writing the vision plain, and you can see it. The first line that I write, thank you, God, for waking me up today because I get to be of service. So something that I'm so proud of. I love to see it, but every day, that's how I start my day. Jim Rohn, it's what he always said, right? The more we can be of service every day, I don't miss a day. Every day, that's how my day starts, right? So, but that's what he says, right? Service to many leads to greatness. So every day I'm thinking about how can I go out and be of service? So little things like that, whether it's opening a door, volunteering, giving back, giving away this knowledge, all of these different aspects is a way of service, sending out our gratitude messages. So I couldn't be more grateful for each and every single one of you, because just know that your thumbprint, your imprint, your story is more valuable than I could ever put into words. So Nibs, I see you, brother. It's good to see you. Love it, love it. So let's go ahead and dive in. I got a good training for today, super short and sweet, but it's a good one. And first things first, the 4 reasons why it's tough for anybody to make changes. And here's the deal. This is not just for a handful of people. This is for really anybody walking. I don't care who you are. Change is not easy for anybody, but it is one of the only constants in life. So here's the thing. The best version of ourselves is waiting for us to go ahead and achieve great things. So the question really becomes is, what are we waiting for, number one? And when do we plan on changing to go ahead and make the decision to go all in? I heard it years ago. My mentor said, D, if you want to go ahead and be balling, right? If you really want to take things to the next level, you've got to be able to be all in. So in order to become the best version of ourselves, in order to go ahead and look forward to change, there's a purpose before I get into these 4 questions, okay? In order to get what we want in life, believe it or not, it's going to take shedding into a completely different version of ourselves. I tell you guys a lot, but it's the truth. I was not good at speaking at the beginning, right? I was terrified to be on a camera. Making videos was definitely not my forte. It took me 30 takes just to even get something that was somewhat decent. But I started to see that the longer that I stay afraid, the longer that I sit in my shell, the more money, the more impact, the more service that I'm leaving on the table. So I say, you know what? A lot of the things that scare me, I want to go ahead and run at them. There's a meme that I saw years ago at the beginning too. It said a lot of things are on the other side of fear. So imagine that if we have this big wall up, if we're afraid to speak, we're afraid to get a live trading account, we're afraid to go ahead and put out more testing products inside of our e-commerce store. Imagine if we were to just be able to climb over that wall. And on the other side of fear, is that successful? That's what I started to see. Anything that made me fearful, I was going to climb over that wall and see what was on the other side. And I can tell you, there's a lot of abundance. There's a lot of greatness that's waiting, but it takes being bold. It takes running into the dark, even when we can't see the next 5 steps, because sometimes all we need to see is the next step in front. So here we go. Let's get into it. The 4 reasons why people don't change. A lot of people resist change because it means there's resistance inside of life. And here's number 1, okay? People feel awkward and self-conscious doing something new. Think about it. When you guys do something new, something that you're not normally used to doing, do you feel awkward? Like if you guys were to throw me a guitar right now, I would feel very awkward. I don't know how to play the notes. I don't know how to play the strings. I always wanted to, but it's not something that I can just play off the rip and go ahead and do it. So to me, it feels kind of weird. It's not up my alley. But I can tell you right now, if you were to give me a guitar and you were to give me lessons for a month straight, how many of us think that we would be more confident at the 30th day than we would at the first day starting out? It's almost anything. In fact, I guarantee you, if I put any of us at a McDonald's register, one of the easiest places that we could work, and I'm like, give me a double cheeseburger, give me a fry. Matter of fact, take off the lettuce, add on some ketchup. I want 2 double McFlurries. We would take probably a little bit to go ahead and put that order in. You guys believe so? The same thing happens with learning anything that's new, whether it's even at a McDonald's cash register, or it's learning skill sets like this. It's making videos. It's building a brand on social media. Fam, I didn't have a brand before, right? Define Dreams. You know what my brand used to be? I used to be Define 22. That was me. It was the number that I wore my whole life, and my nickname is Define. I just threw that together, and that was my brand. Before I started to realize, like, wow, it's worth it to really take the time to go ahead and build these things. So number 1 is we feel awkward doing something new. So how many of us, you didn't know how to do e-commerce? You didn't know how to post online at the beginning. But the more you start to do it, drop a 3 down below if you start to get confident, the more reps that you put in, the more action you start to take, the more questions you started to ask. And this is how it works. It's not a surprise. It's not a secret, but this is how growth works. The more we show up, the more we apply ourselves, the more that we beat on our craft, nothing gets easier. We just get better, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, when it comes to reasons why it's tough for us to change, is this. You see, a lot of us, we initially focus on what it is that we have to give up, not realizing that what we're giving up is actually allowing us to go ahead and step up. You see, for me, there's a couple things that I needed to give up when I first got started. I needed to give up my negative circle of influence, right? The people that I was surrounded with all the time, none of them saw my vision. None of them saw the power of trading. None of them saw the power of building a brand for themselves. None of them saw the power of learning something new. In fact, every day was pretty much just the same, right? We would get out of college. They would come home and either smoke and joke, play video games, do nothing really productive. And that became my life. And I said, you know what do I have to give up to be able to get to the next level? I had an Xbox. I had a TV. When I first joined, I didn't have the 200 to get started. I was literally living out of my car, but I said, you know what? For things to change, I have to change. And I knew it. And I finally got to a point where I noticed and I knew nobody was going to invest you and I, not my family, not my friends. So if I didn't be the one to do it, I wasn't ready to hold my breath for success. So I said, let's go ahead and make the investment. And I'll never forget it. I actually met Chris Terry. I saw the blueprint and I saw the plan. I came back home and I said, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Sold my TV, sold my Xbox to go ahead and join. I was so broke, but I was so serious to go ahead and get to the next level. I said, we already spend money every single weekend anyways. This was the game-changing question my mentor asked me. And you guys can go ahead and take this. This will change your sales game completely. Ask people in the past 90 days, and all of the money that they've made, how much has that money made them? And just be quiet. Don't say anything. You know what the answer is going to be? For 95% of people, take a guess. 0. Goose egg. You know how I know? Because that was me. My answer was 0. I thought about it. All the money that's coming in the past 90 days, 6 months, none of it made me anything. I was spending it on liabilities. And my mentor said, D, well, if nothing changes, we might be in the same spot in 6 months to a year. Is that somewhere that you'd be happy and proud of being? I said, absolutely not. I said, when do you want to change? I said, today. Sold them both. That's when the change really began. So that's number 2, right? Realizing that for most of us, we're going to have to give up a couple different things to be able to go ahead and elevate. I had to give up the junk food. I had to give up time scrolling. And I got a calendar. My mentor, a major thing he taught me at the beginning as well, he said, show me your calendar and I'll be able to predict your income. And at the time, my calendar was pretty empty. I didn't have a whole lot on it. It was a big old blank whiteboard pretty much. And he said, D, when you can really start to map out your day, when you can really start to see your week, see your month, this is when you start to really go ahead and gain momentum and traction. So I had to give up not being organized. I had to really adopt some new habits, some new patterns, and some new rituals to really go ahead and change. You know, another one of my biggest weaknesses was I used to get up late. I haven't worked since 2017. So for me, I've been able to get up when I'm done sleeping, but I noticed there was people that were getting more done between 5 a.m. to 9 and 10 a.m. than some would do an entire day. I said, that was it. That's one of the biggest keys I'm missing, because Neno had the exact same story. We were both at 2,000 a month for a while, and a year and a half later, he jumped from 2,000 a month to 25,000 a month. And I remember thinking, how does that happen? How is that possible? And he always went back to talk about, he's like, D, it's the morning routine. He said between journaling, affirmations, yoga, doing some of my morning skill sets, changed everything for me. And I began getting up earlier. I wasn't able to get up at 5 or 6. So I started slow. And I started getting up at 9. And then I started getting up at 8. And then 7. And then 6. And then I did the 5:55s for a long time. So for some of you guys, it might be sleep. It might be junk food. It might be hitting the gym. Whatever it is, everybody's going to be different for number 2. But it takes some time to just really figure out what that is and ask ourselves, are we ready for the next level? Number 3, here we go. I got 2 more for you. Stick with me. Number 3 is going to be people are afraid of being ridiculed. People are afraid of being ridiculed. They're afraid of somebody making fun of them for stuttering. They're afraid of putting out a video and somebody random comments on it and said, why are you wasting your time? What are you doing? We're afraid of maybe what our family might say, what our best friends 2 cents might go ahead and give to what it is that we're doing. You know what I started to see though? That random comment is not going to affect my life. If the closest people, they can't see what I see, here's the facts. That's normal. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but if I would go back and I would put my arm around my 21-year-old self and I would give them one of the biggest pieces of advice, it would be this. It takes strangers to celebrate you before it takes family to come back and actually support us. That was me. My father, my best friend, everybody thought trading was a scam. And then I started growing and I started really learning these skill sets. And I had strangers that were excited to learn, that were ready for change, that were ready to go ahead and do something different. And it taught me a lot that, you know what? We don't need to be worried about what somebody else thinks. I was listening to all of the wrong individuals. See, that's the problem. Getting out of college, this hit me like a brick. We asked the right questions, but the problem is we asked them to the wrong people. I was asking all my best friends, my father, how do we make 6 figures? How do we make 7 figures? You know what the problem is? How can they tell us how to do something they've never done for themselves? It's pretty tough, right? So I went out and I found those that did have the success, that did have the results, that did have exactly what it is that I was looking for. And that's where everything changed. Ask the right questions to the right people, and everything starts to open up. And that's what we have. Fam, if you look at the chairman, look at the educators, you look at the group chats that we have, this is exactly what I've been looking for years. Because guess what? We have a like-minded community of the 5%ers, those that push each other, that are striving to become the best version of ourselves every day, that are ready for change. And I believe it starts with the core. And as we grow, as we develop, this bubble continues to grow. And guess what? More people become attracted to the lights. They're ready to do something different. And all it takes is one. It takes one candle to go out and light countless other candles. So that's number 3. And number 4, last but not least, is going to be people might feel alone in the process. Getting into something like what we're doing is different. It's not what most people are used to seeing. But if you remember this, if we do what most people do, we'll get what most people get. And I don't know about you, but I got out of college and all I saw was most people get out of college to be in debt, to go work a typical 9-to-5 job. Nothing wrong with that, but get out to have a family, to pay bills and pass. That's the American dream. That's what people are taught growing up. Nothing wrong with that. But I believe if you're listening, if you're on this call, we're destined and we're designed for a lot more to just go to work, pay bills, and call it life. That's not living to me. That's simply just existing. So understand that along the journey, there's going to be a lot of individuals that don't see what we see. It could be friends, it could be family, but this is why we have a tribe. This is exactly why we have this community. See, fam, even for all of you, if you haven't experienced this yet, I'm telling you, it is going to come along your way. So don't fret when it comes. Just know it's a part of the process. It's a part of, I like to call, cutting out the fat. And when we separate to elevate, guess what happens? We attract more individuals on the exact same journey that are ready to accept change. And exactly when we make that decision to draw a line in the sand, just like the Red Sea, things move out of the way and we attract the right people, places, and opportunities inside of our life. So, fam, with that being said, that is my training for today on the 4 reasons why any one of us can go out and we can go ahead and hit change right in the mouth. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And stay tuned because today I have a very, very special training for the leaders on how to maximize the summer. If you guys are looking to do so, let me see some 4s down below. If you guys are looking to go ahead and maximize the summer, because this is going to be one I believe is going to be one that we will never forget. And it's going to be called the 90-day pre-launch. So stay tuned, 6 p.m. Eastern. Put on your calendar. I will see you all in 6 hours. Remember, fam, we can be, do, and have anything. We can hold our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. Have an abundant day, fam, and let's go out and turn these dreams into reality. It's game time. Let's grow.